is he?
Getting started.
Yep, we can.
And how are you doing?
I'm okay, just tired. You know, could use a good nap, which I might get today.
I hope so.
We'll see.
I hope so. So I had some great Passover lasagna last night.
I was hoping Karen would be here so I could tell her in person. We were like, oh my gosh, that's the best lasagna.
You have, I know.
the
I
best
looked, she asked
lasagna
me,
I ever had.
is it okay? Is it good? And as my eyes were pouncing out of my head, I'm like, it's better than that.
It was really good.
This is fantastic.
She's really good. Well, I want the recipe, but there's no way I could,
It's just, you know.
make it like her. It's the sauce and all that.
Right,
Oh my
right.
God.
We had a few more vegetables. I know.
I was gonna
we
say,
had
I
some
would've
extra
put- it's funny.
mushrooms and spinach.
Well,
and
I
she
would have
kept
put
them out.
like you could put zucchini in
Right,
there.
right.
I mean, the boys would
course.
eat that sort of, but they
Right. She wasn't sure what the kids,
It
so
was
she was
delicious.
light on the veggies, she said. But she had some.
It was delicious. It
Yes, I
was
loved it. Well, good.
divine. It was getting late. I mean, Yuntep had started and all. We were gonna call you, but
I
got the boys to bed.
You saw a late ritual report. You may not have seen it. That's okay. I made a typo. When I was thanking participants, it came out Bernard Friedman instead of Bernard Rabinowitz and Eli Friedman.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, I just kind of highlighted what we were talking about and
Gotcha.
the committees and that stuff.
All right. Well,
But we can wait for the 2 or 3 in the audience to come.
yeah.
and then
Cameron
I'll
was
start.
hanging out in his. Not sure what he was doing. He's hanging out in the car. Okay.
Well, people, there are always mixed messages. I knew Bruce. I was thinking this morning, I have no doubt Bruce had questions, or Bruce would get here at 7:30, because he
I
half the
told
time
him.
misses
I
it.
looked at him and told him.
I know it.
8:15,
And same
9:15.
thing, well, he wasn't here yesterday.
No, but I looked at him the day before that.
Right,
even.
right, I know.
said it to him
Rick
before
just
that.
got back, and Cameron should know better, but that's okay.
And we even sent it out on the email
Yeah,
yesterday.
and I feel bad that they
Yeah.
they understand. No problem. And so as soon as we get 1 or 2 more in the audience, I'll start. And then I'll 5 aliyot, 2 Torahs. Good news is we've got at least 2 Hagbagulim.
It's definitely have that.
Rick and Cameron.
We definitely have.
And yes, there we are.
Jeff should be here too. Here, I'll give you this one.
You got him?
This one over here.
Okay, just
Bernard coming?
I hope so. Is it? Yes. I saw it, and Bruce knows Torah service starts at 399. Rick knows Maftir is page.
Oh, well, that's good.
932.
You can announce it when we get there.
Right? They each have their own page to remember. What page? 399. What page? There you go. That's all we need to know. Oh, it just means that's to help remind us what page number.
Well, let's hope we get him in here.
Okay, we will. Now's a good time to start. Why don't we start on page 103 with Birchot HaShachar. Please rise, page 103. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech. Oh, Karen says I should take this off. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech v'bina lehavchin ben yom uvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kifufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechim mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol zarki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael betifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten laya'ef koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir shina me'anai tunuma me'ava. Utnenu hayom uvachol yom lechenu lechesed ulrachamim be'einecha ve'einecha kol roenu ve'tigmelenu chasadim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael. Page 105. L'olam yehei adam yirei shamayim baseter uvagalui. Top of page 106 at the red arrow. Ashrenu ma tov chelkenu, uma na'im goralenu, uma yafa yerushatenu. Ashrenu she'anachnu mashkimim uma arivim erev avoker v'yomrim pamayim bechol yom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. Kadesh et Shimcha al Makdishei Shemecha, veKadesh et Shimcha biolamecha, uvishuatecha tarim v'tagbiha karnenu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh et Shimcha barabim. Please choose a rabbinic text for individual study on pages 107 through 109. Boker Tov, Bernard. Okay, page 110. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu she'titen chelkenu b'toratecha v'nihiyeh mitalmidav shel Aharon hakohen ohev shalom v'rodef shalom ohev et habriot umekarvan la Torah. Page 112. Oh, not Psalm for Shabbat. Page 120, Mizmor LeDavid. Page 120. Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit LeDavid. Hafachta mispedi lemacholi, V'pitach tasaki vat azreini simcha lema'an yezamercha chavod v'lo yidom Adonai Elohai leolam odecha. Page 121. Let's do the last two lines. Those who would like may rise. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Page 122, Baruch She'amar. Please rise. Can you hear me okay back there, Karen? Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu, Baruch oseh v'reishit, Baruch omer v'yoseh, Baruch gozer umkayem, Baruch mirachem al ha'aretz, Baruch mirachem al ha'briot, Baruch mishalem sachar tov lireav, Baruch chai la'ad v'kayam la'netzach, Baruch podeu matzil, Baruch hu uvaruch shemo. Baruch Adonai Elohim melech haolam, helav harachaman hamechulal b'fi amo. Yachid chei haolamim melech mishubach umfa'ar adei ad shemo hagadol. Baruch atah Adonai melech mechulal batishbachot. You may be seated, page 136, I believe, for Ashrei. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, odil chalalucha sela, Ashrei hamshecha chalo, Ashrei hamshet nayelo hav tehila leDavid. Tihilat Adonai yedaber pi v'vrech kol basar shem kodsho leolam va'ed v'anachnu nivarech ya me'ata v'yad olam. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah nafshi et Adonai. 137. Adonai shomer et gerim, yatom v'almana ye'oded v'derech rishaim ye'avet, yimloch Adonai leolam Elohayech tzion ledor vador. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Ki tov zamra Eloheinu, ki na'im nava tehillah. 138. Magi devarav leYaakov chukav umishpatav leYisrael lo asachein lechol goy umishpatim bal yedaum. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah et Adonai min hashamayim. Hallelujah bamromim. Vayarem keren liamo tehila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kirovo. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shiru ladonai shir chadash tehilato bichal chasidim. Lesor malchechem bezikim v'nich b'dehem bechavlei varzel, lasot bahem mishpat katuv hadarhu lechol chasidav. Hallelujah. page 141. Hallelujah, 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 El Bekodsho, hallelujah, hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, hallelujah, 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 Vikvurotav, hallelujah, hallelujah, Kirov Gudlo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, beteka shofar. Hallelujah, hallelujah, benevel v'chinur. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, betof umachol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, beminim ve'ugav. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, vitzil tzalei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, vitzil tzalei trua. Kol hanshama tehallel, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallel, hallelujah. Baruch Adonai leolam amen v'amen. Baruch Adonai mitzion shochen Yerushalayim, hallelujah. Baruch Adonai Elohim Elohei Yisrael oseh niflaot levado. Uvaruch Shem kivodo leolam v'yimale kivodo et kol haaretz. Amen v'amen. Page 142, please rise. Vayevarech David et Adonai leinei kol hakahal vayomer David. Atahu Adonai ha-Elohim, asher bacharta be'Avram, ve'hotzeto me'or kasdim, ve'samta shemo Avraham, umatzata et levavo ne'eman lefanecha, ve'charot imo habrit. V'hayam bakata lifnehem, v'ya'avru v'tochayam bayabasha, ve'et rodvehem hishlachta bimtzolot kemo even b'mayim azim. V'yosha Adonai bayom hahu et Yisrael miyad Mitzrayim, v'yar Yisrael et Mitzrayim metal sfat hayam, v'yar Yisrael et hayad hagidola, asher as Adonai b'Mitzrayim, vayir'u ha'am et Adonai, vaya'aminu b'Adonai uv'Moshe avdo. Az yashir Moshe uvenei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai, vayomru le'mor, Ashira l'Adonai ki gaoka, sus v'rochvo rama vayam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot o seifele. The bottom of page 144, actually mid 144. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Ki l'Adonai hamlucha u'moshel ba'goyim, v'yalu moshim behar Tzion lishpot et har Esav, והייתה לאדוני המלוכה, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Page 145. נשמת כל חי, תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו. On the bottom of 146, LeDavid barchi nafshi et Adonai v'chol karavai et shem kodsho. 147, Ha'el beta'atzumot uzecha, Hagadol bichvod shemecha, Hagibor lanetzach, v'hanora benorotecha, Hamelech hayoshev al kisei ram v'nisa.
We conclude our preliminaries. Get us going this morning. Ask him, but I'm 99% sure he's not.
So that'd be 9.
Yep.
Okay. We'll give him 9. Okay.
Yep. All right. Yashikach. And you just heard the prayer for, we just heard the Song of the Sea. We're going to be reading that in its original in just a little bit. Today's the anniversary. Correct. There you go. You are welcome to be seated, by the way. Yeah, today I think traditionally is that. That is correct. So we will celebrate by studying it and reading it. And there's always a debate as to why it's not on the 8th day when most people show up for Yisker instead of us mighty few who show up for this. But some places we read it both days. Tomorrow we'll read the regular Deuteronomy, but it's a very fun. We're going to read it with the special trope too. So in fact, I was just looking at it. We'll talk about that later when we get there. But so we're on page 147, and I think we are shy just a minion, even though we look like we have one. So we need to make sure about that. So page 147. Ha'el b'ta'atzumot uzecha Hagadol bichvod shemecha Hagibor lanetzach v'hanora b'norotecha Hamelech Hayoshev Al kisei ram v'nisa Shochen ad maharam v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv radenu tzadikim Adonai Aisharim navatayila B'fi yesharim titalal Uvdivrei tzadikim titbarach Uvilshon chasidim titromaham Uvkerev kiddoshim titkadash Uvamakahalat revivot Amcha beit Yisrael V'yirei parshim Shekain chohavat kol ha'yitzurim Lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu Lehodot, lehalel, leshabeach, lefaer, leramim, lehader, levarech, lehalei, kahale, sokol divrei shirot v'tishbachot, David ben Yishai, avdecha meshichecha. 148. Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu, ayala melech hagadol. Berachot v'hodot me'atav yad olam baruch atah Adonai El melech gadol batishbachot El hahodaot Adon haniflaot Abocher b'shirei zimra Melech el chei ha'olamim. We turn over to page 150 at the top. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or uvarei choshech Oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. We turn on to page 152, where you'll find the tefillot, our prayers for our festival morning, middle of 152. Ameir la'aretz levido erim aleha rachamim u'tuv mechadesh b'chol yom tamid. Bottom of 152. El Baruch Gedol Deya Echinu Fazarechama Tov Yatzar Kavod Lishmo Meorot Natan Svivot Tuzo Pinot Tzvav Kedoshim Ramimei Shaddai Tamid Mesaprim Kevod El Ugdushato El Baruch Gedol Deya Echinu Fazarechama Tov Yatzar Kevod Lishmo Meorot Natan Svivot Uzo Meorot Natan Svivot Uzo Meorot Natan Svivot Uzo Titbarach Adonai al Eloheinu al Shavach Maaseh Yadecha V'Hameorei Or Shasita Yifarucha Selah. 153. Titbarach Tzureinu Malkeinu V'Goleinu B'rei Kedoshim Yishtabach Shem Chalad Malkeinu. Kulam Ahuvim Kulam Beruim Kulam Giborim V'Kulam Osim Yehema U'V'Yeraretzon Kanam V'chulam podchim epihem b'kedusha v'tahara v'shira v'zimra u'mbarachim u'mshabachim u'mfarim u'maritzim u'makdishim u'mamlichim et shem ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol ha'gibor v'hanora kadoshu v'chulam mekablim aleihem ol malchut shemayim zeh mizeh v'notnim reshut zeh lazeh Le'akdish liyotzram menachat ruach b'safa v'ravinim ha'kedosha kulam kecharonim v'yomrim b'yira kadosh 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 Adonai tzevaot meloch ol ha'aretz kevodo v'haofanim v'chayot ha'kodesh bera'ash gadol minasim l'matzarafim Umatam Shavachim V'Yomrim Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo El Baruch Nimot Yiteinu Chachavat Yom. Amechadesh B'Tiva B'Chol Yom Tamim Rashi Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir V'Nizkech Ulanu Meher Alero Or Chadash Al Tzion Ta'ir V'Nizkech Ulanu Meher Alero Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. Page 154. Ahava Rabba Aftanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagidol Avitera Chamalta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Bavur Avoteinu Shebarchu V'cha Avinu Malkeinu Vatelam Denchu Kechayim Kein Techonenu Tlamdenu Avinu Ha'av Harachaman Amrachem rachem aleinu, v'tein b'libeinu lehavinu haskil lishmoa, lilmod u'lilamed, lishmor v'lasot, u'kayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha b'yahava, v'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dahabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu leyahava u'yir'a et shemecha, v'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, v'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed, ki v'shem kodshecha agadol v'hanora b'hatachnu, nagila v'nismecha, nagila v'nismecha v'shuatecha. We take the four corners of the talit, the four tzitzit, bringing them together as we continue on 154 at the bottom. V'havienu v'shalom me'arba kanfot haaretz, v'tolichenu kamemiyut le'artzenu, ki el po'el Yeshua tata, uvanu v'charta mikolam v'lashon, v'keravtanu l'shimcha hagadol, sela be'emet, lehodot lecha, uyachedcha b'yahava. Baruch atah Adonai, abocher b'yamo Yisrael, b'yahava. Melech Memon, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Le'olam Vaed. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha havaderech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. We read 155 on the left side of Shema together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all that is yours. These words that I command you this day shall be taken to heart. Teach them again and again to your children. Speak of them when you sit in your home, when you walk on your way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign upon your hand and as a symbol above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and on your gates. Page 156, silently. Middle of 156, you'll find the biblical instruction to wear the tzitzit, a reminder of the mitzvot. We join together. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber El b'nei Yisrael v'amarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem ledorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf b'til techelet v'haya lachem letzitzit or item oto uschartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem yacharei nechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkiru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hatsei Etchem Eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. Let's see if I can Yam Bishar. Lidor vador hu kayam ushmo kayam v'chison achon malchutov yimunat taliat kayamet uvrav chayim v'kayamim v'nemanim v'nechvadim. Emet shatahu Adonai Eloheinu v'lahei avotenu malkeinu melech avotenu go aleinu go el avotenu Yotzreinu Tzur Yeshuatenu Podenu Matzilenu Me'olam Shemecha Ein Elohim Zulatecha Ezra Avotenu Atahu Me'olam Aginu Moshe L'Bnei Mechador Bor Vador. And Atahu Adonai Mecha Melech Ribono. Ahazot shibechu ahuvim, ahazot shibechu ahuvim, ve'romimu, 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 ve'romimu el, v'natnu yedidim, v'natnu yedidim, zmirot shirot v'tishbachot brachot ve'hodot, Amela melech el chai v'kayam Ram v'nisa gadol v'nora Mashpil geim u'magbiha shefalim Motzi asirim ufode anavim v'yozer dalim V'yon eliamo v'yon eliamo v'yet shavah melav tehilot el elyon baruch hu umevorach Moshe Miriam u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira b'simcha raba v'yamru chulam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nohora tehilot osefele. Shira chadasha, shibchu kelim l'shimchad al sfat hayam, yachad kulam hodu b'him lichu v'yamru. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Sur Yisrael Kuma v'ezrat Yisrael Uftechinu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Adonai Gal Yisrael. We turn forward in our Siddur to 306. We're going to do the first page of the Amidah together out loud, and then we will continue quietly with the Amidah, with the Kedusha on 308, and then you can follow the instructions for our additions for Pesach, and we'll go from there. And if we do get a minion, then we'll go from there. Page 306. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konehei HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot, U'mevigo Elifnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yava, Melech Ozer Fokedu Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Abraham Ufokei Tzara Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei Meitim Berachamim Rabim Somech noflim verofeh cholim umatir asurim umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umidom elach Melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emanat alach hayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim. We're going to wait just one more minute as people walk in. Kaddish et shimcha ba'olam kishem shemakti shimoto b'shmei moron. Nikadesh et shimcha ba'olam kishem shemakti shimoto b'shmei moron. Kakatuv al yad neviecha v'karazel zev yamar. Kadosh, kadosh, kadosh Adonai Tzevaot Meloch ol haaretz kevodo. Az b'kol Rosh Gadol. We're on 308. Az b'kol Rosh Gadol Adir v'chazak mashmim kol minasim l'matzarafim l'matam baruch yomeru Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo Mimkom chamokenu tofia v'tim loch aleinu kimachakim anachnu lach matai timloch b'tzion v'karov yamenu le'olam va'ed tishkon titkadal v'titkadash v'toch Yerushalayim yirecha Ledor vador u'netzach u'netzach netzachim v'heinenu tirena malchutecha kadavar ha'amor b'shirei uzecha Al Yidei David Mashiach Tzidkecha. Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohei tzin l'dor v'ador, hallelujah. L'dor v'ador nagid godlecha, u'lanetzach netzachim, kedushacha nakdish, v'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed, ki hamelech gadol v'kadosh ata, baruch ata Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh, ata v'chartanu mikol ha'amim. We continue with Seder Hallel, our additional psalms of praise for the holiday. It is a custom that the first 2 days of Passover, we do a full Hallel, and the last 6 days, we do a half Hallel, even on Shabbat. So we will do a half Hallel today. It's a little bit shorter. We leave a few psalms out. I think that's just our practical nature, recognizing it is, we've done a lot of davening already, so we've done a lot of celebrating. And I think our tradition recognizes there's a way to kind of modify that. So page 316, you'll find Seder Hallel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et Hallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, avdei Adonai, hallelujah, et shem Adonai. Yimizrach shemesh Adonai. Lehoshivim nedivim im nedivei amo moshivi akeret habayit im habanim samecha hallelujah B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim Beit Yaakov me'am lo'ez Aita Yehuda lekodsho, Yisrael mamshalotav, Ayam Ravayanos, Ayarden Yisov leachor, Eharim rakedu cheyelim, Gevot kivnei tzon, Malech hayam, Kitanus, Ayarden tisov leachor, Eharim, Tirkedu cheyelim, Gevot kivnei tzon, Milifnei Adon, Chuli Aretz, Milifnei Eloi Yaakov, Hafri Hatzor, Agamayim, Chalamish lemaino mayim. Page 317 in the middle. Adonai Zecharanu Yevarech, Yevarech et Beit Yisrael, Yevarech et Beit Aharon, Yevarech Yerei Adonai, Hakatanim im Hagedolim, Yosef Adonai Alechem, Alechem Yavnechem, Beruchim Atem Ladonai, Ose Shamayim Ba'aretz, Hashamayim Shamayim Ladonai, Beha'aretz Natan Lifnei Adam, Lo HaMetim Yehallelujah, Velo Kol Yordei Duma, V'anachnu Nevarech Ya, Me'ata v'yad olam, Me'ata v'yad olam, Hallelujah. Middle of page 318. Mashiv l'Adonai, Kol Deluhi Alai, Kol Shishua Tesav, Hashem Adonai Ekrav. Last three lines on 318. Lecha esbach zevach toda uv'shem Adonai hekeran edarai l'Adonai ashalem negdana lechol hamo bechatzrot beit Adonai b'tochechi Yerushalayim bechatzrot beit Adonai b'tochechi Yerushalayim. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Et Adonai kol goyim shabchu kol ha'umim ki gavar aleinu chasto v'yemet Adonai le'olam hallelujah. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov ki le'olam ki Yomarna, 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 Yisrael, ki leolam chasto, Yomruna, 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 Vehet Aharon, ki leolam chasto, Yomruna, 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 Yir'ei Adonai, ki leolam chasto, min hametzar karatiya, ahanani v'hamerchavya, min hametzar karatiya, ahanani v'hamerchavya, anani, anani, anani v'hamerchavya, anani, anani, anani v'hamerchavya. Adonai lilo ira ma yaseh li adam. Save as in Ratian and I really Shua Kornish. Pihuli Sharet Sedek Avovam Odeya. Pihuli Sharet Sedek Avovam Odeya. Zeh Shar Ladonai Tzadikim Yavovo. Zeh Shar Ladonai Tzadikim Yavovo. Odecha ki anitani v'hatehili lishua. Odecha ki anitani v'hatehili lishua. Even masu habonim aita lerosh pina. Even masu habonim aita lerosh pina. Me'et Adonai haita zot ki niflat me'einenu. Me'et Adonai haita zot ki niflat me'einenu. Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismechavo. Zeh hayom asa Adonai nagila v'nismechavo. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hatzlichana. Ana Adonai Hatzlichana. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai Baruch Nuchem Mibeit Adonai Baruch haba b'shem Adonai Nuchem Mibeit Adonai. Eliata ve'odeka Elohai aromemeka. Eliata ve'odeka Elohai aromemeka. Odul Adonai ki tov ki le'olam chasto. Odul Adonai ki tov ki le'olam chasto. 321. Yalalu Adonai Eloheinu kol ma'aseh. Ki lecha tov lehodot al shimcha na'el lezamer ki me'olam ad olam v'ata el Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal batishbachot. We continue with Kaddish Shalem on page 321. Yitkadav yitkadash shemei rabba v'yalmad yivrach yutev yamlich malchuteh v'chaychon v'yimechon uv'chayedecho be'Yisrael ba'agala b'zman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'olam olam me'omaya yitbarach Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbar, Vitram Minaseh, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemedi Kudisha, Brichu, Le'elam, in Kober Chatav, Shirata, Tishbachatav, Nechamata, Damiram, Diamavi, Imeru, Amen. Titkabal, Tzaloton, Uvauton, Dechol Yisrael, Kodam of Ahun to be Shemaya, Imeru, Amen. Yehishlam, Rabba, Min Shemaya, Vechayim, Alin, Vial, Kol Yisrael, Imeru, Amen. O Sesh Shalom, Bimramav, Uya Sesh Shalom, Alin, Vial, Kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru. Amen. You are welcome to be seated for just a moment. Jeff, are you going to do Torah service for us? Excellent. All right, we're going to do a little Torah study first since we've been standing for a while, and then we will do our Torah service. Take out study our Torah. So, there are a number of events in the history of our people that can be seen as, I think, defining moments. And these are events that are so central to us that without them, we wouldn't be who we are. And I think that, of course, the Exodus story is one of those. And in the Torah reading that we're studying today, we study this kind of event, this climactic, central event, founding myth, if you will, and that's not in a negative way to say it's not real. It's just this is a foundational myth, if you will, a foundational story for us as Jews. It's the climax of the Exodus story. It's the account of the Israelites' actual departure from Egypt. So we've already witnessed the great miracles of God. We've seen every plague delivered upon Egypt. We've survived unharmed. We hear the command from Pharaoh, which we thought we would never hear, which is go, leave, get out. We've been studying the Torah readings from this the last number of days. And now we stand at the edge of the Red Sea. We're ready to cross over into freedom. We see water, of course, in front of us, pursuing Egyptians, closing in behind us. And what do? Well, what do we do best as Jews? We complain, right? So we focus, instead of looking at what we're leaving, we go and look back and say, why are we even leaving? Why do we leave Egypt only if we're going to die here just a little bit out, just here in the wilderness at the hands of the Egyptians who are pursuing us? Why leave anyway? Now Moses, of course, think about him as the leader. He feels the pressure of this mass of Israelites. Some say 600,000, that's the count, right, of those who left. That we can't see in life the possibilities that are in front of us, so all we can do is look back and say, why don't we just go back? Why don't we stay where we are? The Egyptians close in, the people complain even further, and Moses cries out to God. And it's a fabulous exchange. We studied this when we studied Bishalach just a couple months ago, when we studied the portion in Exodus in the regular cycle of our Torah reading. God says back to Moses, Ma titzach alai daber el bnei Yisrael vayisa'u, right? Why are you crying out to me? This is not what we would expect God to be saying, but why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to go forward. And it's kind of an odd thing. You would think God would say, don't worry, I'm going to take care of it, or it's all okay, or some kind of words of compassion. But instead, God's already a little bit miffed, it sounds like, and says, don't cry out to me, Moses, right? Tell the Israelites, just get them to move forward. Keep going. And according to the Midrash, you all are probably well familiar with this one, it's not until a guy named Nachshon ben Aminadab, he's the tribe of Judah, that he springs forward, he goes into the water, and that's, according to the Midrash, when the waters finally part and the people cross safely. And it's with that Midrash in mind that our tradition teaches us that the climax of the Exodus is not actually that awesome miracle of the sea that parts so the Israelites could pass through it, nor was it really even the closing of the walls. And those in the Turning Points class that we've done, we've talked about that. Phil, you and I, we've talked about it. We talk about what exactly is the climax of the Exodus story. Is it us leaving? Is it us standing at what exactly is it? So according to the tradition, it's really not the sea parting, which we might say is, look, yay, that's the climax. Or that we're passed through and then the walls close. Oh, yes, that's the final climax. That's the yay at the end of the movie, right? Where do we clap at the end of the movie, right? And so the climax comes, really, our tradition teaches with this midrash, in that very quiet decision of a very simple person, that Nachshon, who had the faith and courage to move forward. So where was the climax? Again, not in the grand miracle of the actual waters parting or falling down again, but in the decision of Nachshon, of that person, to walk forward and say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. And it's with that step into the water, he left really the shackles of slavery. That was the decision that really left slavery behind. And he took this giant leap toward freedom. He accepted the challenge to make his own decision, to decide his own fate, and to have a faith in the future. And that's for many of us, spiritually at least, the real climax of the story, is being able to leave behind those shackles and move forward. And by doing so in the Midrash, of course, being an inspiration to everyone else who would follow him. So the message of the story of the crossing of the Red Sea is not that we have to believe in miracles. That in and of itself, the parting was a miracle. Nor that God really is going to come to our rescue whenever we need it, because the dialogue shows, what does God say? God says, don't cry out to me. Do something. You guys got to take some charge here. You got to take some responsibility. I'm going to help you, but I'm not going to just do it for you like this, right? Like snap our fingers, wave a wand, and it's done. God's not going to do that for us either. We have to be active players in our own lives, is the message. And we have to accept the charge to move forward, beyond whatever it is that we face, whether it's fear or anger or insecurity, whatever decisions in life we have to face, we have to go forward. We have to have the faith that somehow we're going to be able to cross over past those problems and the challenges that face us, no matter how difficult they become, just like Nachshon did. And then that's when we really do feel the power of God. That's when we can feel that faith inside of us growing even greater. And that's the challenge for us. So the path forward was anything but easy after the crossing. We know this doesn't solve all the problems, but without taking those first few steps through the water, nothing would have happened. And it's the same for us. Without taking those steps through the troubling waters of life, through the things that face us, whatever decisions, whether good or bad they may be, we might never come to taste the sweetness of what's ahead for us. So it's a paradigm, I think, for living life. It's a wonderful story for us. We know that we all have seas to cross in our lives. Every day we pass little seas. They may just be puddles, right? Or they may be grand seas. But either way, we have to figure out a way to step over them, step through them, walk beyond them. And that, again, is our challenge. And if we know that God is with us, if we have that faith that we are partners with God in moving forward, then that's when great things and good miracles can happen. So keep that in mind. We're going to see the story of the Exodus of itself, of this parting of the Red Sea. We're going to read the Song of the Sea. And as Cameron pointed out, traditionally this is the anniversary, right? That's why we're studying it today, of that crossing, of that actual leaving Egypt, this crossing through the Red Sea. And we're going to actually study, just as we chanted it in the morning service, we do every shacharit, every morning service, Sukkot Zimra. We're going to see the original Song of the Sea, and we will take, just as our ancestors did, we will rise during that reading and figuratively join with them as we cross the Red Sea too. So keep it in mind. I'll share a few little interesting things along the way as we do the Torah reading. But we are going to begin with our Torah service on page 322 as we stay in the festival mode. Jeff will come forward. I will move out of the way. And we will all rise. Again, 322 as we join together.
Ein kamocha ve'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'hador. Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach, Adonai Yimlo, Leolam Vaed, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitain, Adonai Yevarech et Amo V'Shalom. Avrachamim Eitiv Avirtzoncha et Zion Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim Ki Becha Levad Batagnu Melech El Ram Venisa Adon Olamim Vayehi ben Saharon Vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai V'yafutzu oivecha V'yanusu misanecha mipanecha Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Ki mitzion tetzei Torah Udevar Adonai mi Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato.
323, we join together at the top.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Lalafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'ah V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Lalafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'ah V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Lalafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'ah V'Nakeh.
Bottom of page 323, we recite the last two lines together 3 times once again.
Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov asdecha aneni bemed yishecha Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov asdecha aneni bemed yishecha Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov asdecha הנני באמת אישך.
Page 325, you'll find Shema Echad God. We'll repeat after each of the first two lines.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Adonai iti, uneromema Shemo Yaakov.
Adonai Hagidul,
Hagevura v'hatiferet v'haneitzak v'hachod kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz kicho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz lecha Adonai hamamlacha Yamid na'aseh lechol l'rosh romimu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu l'adom raglav kadoshu romimu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu lehor kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
As the Torah is on the Shulchan, you are welcome to be seated. All right. It's organized here. All right, so before we actually read, I got it. I'll do that. Oh, you can find it. I'm gonna read if you want. I'm gonna read I'll just share. So before we it should be re-rolled at some point. It should be right there. Before we get to the climax of the Red Sea, we're gonna find the Israelites are, of course, we backtrack just a bit. They're hastily leaving Egypt. Now, generations earlier on his deathbed, Joseph made his children made them promise to take his bones when they leave out of Egypt and to head to God's land. Right? Don't leave me here in Egypt. Take me to the promised land with you. And in this Aliyah, we're going to find that Moses, some 400 years later, has fulfilled this promise. He carries himself. He himself carries the bones of Joseph, according to the story, as the Israelites finally leave. And, you could say, oh, this is just a fulfillment of a promise, but if you think about it, it really is a breaking of those last physical and emotional ties the Israelites had to Egypt. There's nothing left, not even our ancestor, right? Our most important ancestor. He's not even left there. We're taking him with us. And so there's really no looking back now. They're going to carry the will of their ancestors, if you will. It's very symbolic with them towards the future. So we're carrying with us our history, literally, the will of our ancestors who desired to come to the land. We're going to take them with us. They're going to fuel that desire for us as we continue forward. So it's just an interesting way to look at the Torah reading, this first section of Torah, and then we'll get to the climax of the actual crossing of the Red Sea. All right. What are we looking for?
Here. All right.
Oh, I think you're all right. It's a small crowd. They'll hear you. They'll hear you. Go ahead.
I'll yell at you. No, it's all right.
Oh, Rabbi's going to get it. There we go.
Well, it was from the performance the other night. The bima was completely changed.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Way in the back row, in the balcony. Everybody.
No whispering.
V'yazor v'yoeh v'yoshialo simbo v'nomar amen hakol hovu Eloheinu no Torah ta'amod
Harav Mosheva.
harav
Mosheva.
Mosheva
Bat.
bat hayim v'hana.
I know, you usually should. That's okay. You don't have to memorize it. I forget it sometimes.
Baruch shenotam Torah li'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. V'atem habekim b'Adonai Elohim hayim kol haim hayom.
So the Kohen Aliyah will be Rabbi Cohen. It's going to be on page 399, verse 17. The Torah reader will be Jeff Cohen.
He's going to read.
How about that?
Some Cohen.
Yeah, just put Cohen down.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Baruch hu et Adonai Amvorah.
Baruch
Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen. Vayehi Beshalach Paro et Ha'am Elo Nacham Elohim Derech Eretz Philistine Ki Charov Hu Ki Amar Elohim Pen Yenachem Ha'am Birot Milchama V'shavu Mitzrayma Vayaseh Alu V'nei Yisrael
Elohim.
Vayaseh Elohim et Ha'am Derech HaMidbar Yam Suf V'chamushim Alu V'nei Yisrael Me'eretz Mitzrayim Vayikach Moshe et Atzmot Yosef Imo Ki Hashbeahish Bia et Bnei Yisrael Lemor Hakod Yivkod Elohim etchem V'halitem et Atzmotai Mizeh idchem Vayisu Misukot Vayachanu Ve'etam Biksei Hamidbar V'Adonai Holech Livnehem Yomam Be'amud Anan Lanchotam Aderek V'Layla Be'amud Eish Leha'ir Lahem Lalechet Yomam V'Layla Lo Yamish Amud He'anan Yomam Be'amud Eish Laila Livnei Ha'am.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Yamod Ephraim ben Mordechai Shani.
The second Aliyah will be me. Torah reader will be Jeff. We're going to be on Same page. It's going to be verse 1 to 8. So again, that's going to be page 401. We're going to start at 1.
Verse 1. All right, hold on one second. So the second aliyah, you'll see that you'll hear the verse, Vayugad lemelech Mitzrayim ki varach ha'am. The king of Egypt was told that the people had fled. Now, what does that suggest? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Celeste. From this, it seems Pharaoh didn't know that they had left. I mean, he may have said go, but he didn't know that they actually went, right? So, of course, we know he, according to the text, was the one who finally said go. So was he acting dumb or was he saving face, right? Oh, I didn't know they left. What are you talking about they left? Send my armies after them, right? Wink, 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 right? Or is there something more to it? And in the original plea of Moses and Aaron, what did they ask Pharaoh to do? This is where the rabbis come up. What did they ask Pharaoh to let them do? It wasn't to go out and leave forever. All the Israelites wanted to be allowed to go to the wilderness. What was the purpose? They told Pharaoh to worship God. And that journey would take 3 days. From our aliyah, it's clear that Pharaoh had expected them to return. But with the 3-day journey that Moses repeatedly requested having come and gone, Pharaoh finally says, what are you talking about? What do you mean? They left the land? Really? Right? That's certainly not the case. For him, he doesn't realize it. So what does he do? This is where he assembles his chariots, his army, and it pursues. It makes sense because you'd wonder, well, why now is he finally deciding? It's because in the sense that we understand from the story, he thought they were really just going out for 3 days and that they would be coming back. So it's an interesting piece of text if you look at it literally, if you looked at it figuratively. Either way, it doesn't necessarily put Pharaoh in the best light. And either way, it sets up the story with the Egyptian army now following. So keep it in mind.
Okay. So again, we're on page 401, chapter 14, verse 1. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'daber Adonai el Moshe le'mor daber al bnei Yisrael yashu v'yachanu livnei pihi achirot bein Migdol bein hayam livnei Baal Tzifon nichot tachanu al hayam ve'amar Paro livnei Yisrael nevuchim chem haaretz sagar aleihem hamidbar Vehizakti et le Paro beradav achareihem ve'ikabda v'Paro v'chol chelo v'yadeu Mitzrayim ki ani Adonai v'ya'asu chen ve'yugad lemelech Mitzrayim ki varach ha'am v'yehafeh levav Paro v'avadav el ha'am Ayomru mazahot asinu kishi laknu et Yisrael me'avdenu vayesor et richvo v'etamo lakach imo vayikach sheish me'ot rechev bachur v'chol rechev Mitzrayim v'shalishim al kulo vaychazeh Adonai et lehe Paro me'alech Mitzrayim Vayirdo acharei b'nei Yisrael u'b'nei Yisrael yotziim b'yad Ramah.
There we go. Right there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet B'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay. Celeste de la Tour, right behind.
Talamo Shulamet Leal Bat Menachem V'Diana Alicia
For the
Shalishi.
For the third Aliyah, we have Celeste de la Tour. We're on page 402, verse 9. That's chapter 14. The Torah reader will be Jeff Cohen.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorah leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. Venatan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai. Noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ayirdefu Mitzrayim achareihem vayasigu otam chonim alayam kol sus rechev paro ufarasha bechelo al pi hachirot livnei ba'al tzefon ufaro hikriv vayis'u b'nei Yisrael et ha'eineihem Einei Mitzrayim nosea achareihem vayireu me'od vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael el Adonai vayomru el Moshe hamibli kevari b'Mitzrayim lekaptanu lamud b'midbar mazot asihita lanu lehotzianu mimitzrayim halo zeh hadavar Asher dibarnu elecha b'Mitzrayim lemor adam imenu min avda et Mitzrayim ki tov lanu avod et Mitzrayim mimutenu b'midbar vayomer Moshe el ha'am al tira'u idyatzvu ure'u et Yeshua Adonai Asher yaseh lachem hayom ki Asher re'item et Mitzrayim hayom lo tosifu lirotam od ad olam Adonai yilachem lachem ve'atem taharishun.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torat emet V'haye olam nata betoheinu Baruch atah Adonai Noten haTorah.
Let me do a Mishaberach real quick. We'll do a Mishaberach for Char Cholim.
Ya'amod
Wait,
ben
Bernard. We'll do a Mishaberach for our Cholim. We'll do it here real quick. Give me a sec. Mishaberach Avotenu Vimotenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachav Leah Yivarech V'yapeh Kol HaCholim Aryeh ben Shmuel Bela bat Surah Batshia Leah bat Esther Bela bat Malka Chaim Shmuel ben Leah Yocheved Daniel ben Sarah Esther bat Miriam Fegi Riva bat Basha Feivel ben Avraham Feivel ben Rachel Friedel bat Moshe Feivel Zelek ben Bela V'Chaim Beryl Halevi Hadassah bat Realeah Hinda bat Chava Ilan Nesher ben Rivka Leah bat Yehudit, Liat bat Rivka. Liat bat Rivka, Malka bat Zev, Masha bat Zisamarel, Masha Leba bat Roslin, Moshe ben Miriam, Nechama Sarah bat David, Nechama bat Yaakov, Peril bat Tama, Pia Bracha bat Leba Leah, Pinchas Velvel ben Leah, Beraleah bat Avraham ve'Elka. Didn't make it on here. I was afraid of that. Rachel bat Devorah. Pinchas Velvel ben Leah. Rachel bat Yehuda. Yehudit Chaya. Rifuel ben Wolf. Rachel Chenya bat Noah v'Fega. Shlomo bat Yaakov. Sheno bat Golda. Shimon ben Chana. Shlomit Chana bat Bela. Shoshana bat Pearl. Simcha ber ben Chaya. Tova bat Sarah, Yaakov ben Shlomit Chana, Yechezkel ben Sarah, Yehudit Golda bat Elka, Yoel ben Yosef, Yosef ben Abraham Vasara, Tzivia Miriam bat Abigail Bacha, Barbara Argo, Alan Waldhalter, Art Donaldson, Carson Moser, Charlie Pruitt, Daniela Valdez Vasquez, Sophie Handler, Eileen Marin, Elna King, Gary Rosenthal, Joseph Godovin, Jill Testa, Carol Bloom Rumsey, Kimberly Lane, Maria Beck, Marion Braun, Mark Hermelin, Mark Young, Phil Zipkin Day, Robin Keller, Rosario Vasquez, Sarah Ibarra, Shane Goldberg, Sharon Abelo, Sharon Hermelin, and any names that we add to our list at this moment. I think so. HaKadosh Yimalei Rachamim Aleichem Lachazikam Rapotam Yishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema Lechol Abraham V'Gidehem B'toch Shorchalei Yisrael Refuat Nefesh Refuat Guf V'Nomar Amen. Refuah Shlema. May they have a speedy recovery, we hope. All right. So we're going to move forward into the what are we on? Fifth Aliyah, right? Fifth Aliyah. And here's where we, fourth Aliyah. Fourth Aliyah?
Yeah.
Fourth Aliyah.
Yamod ben Zion ben Ephraim David Viester.
For the fourth Aliyah, we have Bruce Bauman. We will be on page 403. That's chapter 14, verse 15.
So you will see, starting with...
Is Jeff Cohen.
No, it's me.
Oh, Rabbi
Starting with
Cohen.
this Aliyah, you're going to see there's a... There are some trope changes. According to tradition, the trope that is recited for the Song of the Sea is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, of melodies, of tropes, of songs. And so you'll see that in the next Aliyah, but we see vestiges. There's a tradition of doing certain verses leading up to the actual Song of the Sea. So you'll hear me try to shift into those verses when I can. Do my best.
Baruch hu es Adonai Barak.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bochach banu mikol ha'amim. V'nosan lanu es torso. Baruch atah Adonai nosein ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe matitzak Eli. Daber el bnei Yisrael vayisa'u ve'ata harem et matcha unetet yadcha hayam uveka'ehu vayavo bnei Yisrael b'toch hayam vayabasha da'ani hineni mechazek et leib Mitzrayim vayavo acharehem V'ikavda b'faro u'b'chol chelo b'richbo u'b'farashav v'yad'u Mitzrayim ki ani Adonai v'ikavdi b'faro b'richbo u'b'farashav v'yisa malach ha'Elohim aholech lifnei machanei Yisrael Vayelech ma'acharehem, vayisa amud ha'anan mipneihem, v'yamod me'acharehem, vayavo bein machane Mitzrayim, ubein machane Yisrael, vayihi ha'anan v'ha'choshech, Vaya'er et halayla v'lo karav zeh el zeh kol halayla. Vayet Moshe et yado al hayam vayolech Adonai et hayam beruach kadim azah kol halayla vayasem et hayam lecharava vayibak'u hamayim. Vayavo b'nei Yisrael b'toch hayam vayabasha v'hamayim lahem homam yiminam umismolam Vayirdefu Mitzrayim vayavo acharehem kol sus paro richbo ufarashav el toch hayam vayehi ba'ashmoret haboker v'yashkef Adonai el machaneh Mitzrayim v'amud esh ve'anan vayvahayam et machaneh Mitzrayim Vayasar et ofan markevotav vayinahagehu bich vedut vayomer Mitzrayim anusam ibnei Yisrael ki Adonai nilcham lahem b'Mitzrayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nasan lanu Torah semes v'chayim olam notabos Eloheinu Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Yashikoah.
No.
No,
One's out of this
we're
one.
still good.
We do 5 aliyot. Then we do the maftir.
Yeah,
Od, Sarah, Atara, Bat, Tzvidov,
Batu?
Tzvidov.
Okay.
Just lost my,
Okay, for the fifth,
Hamishi.
for the fifth Aliyah, we have Karen Landis. We'll be on page 405. That's going to be chapter 14, verse 26. The Torah reader will be Jeff Cohen. Rabbi Cohen. I apologize. Rabbi Cohen. So page 405.
Okay, so here, before you go, this is where we are going to stand when we get to that point, as though we are leaving the Egypt and we are crossing through the Red Sea. And of course, afterwards, we hear Miriam leading with timbrels and dance. And the Song of the Sea, again, is really a jubilant poem, if you will, or really a song of celebration of Thanksgiving. And again, it is probably the oldest piece of biblical poetry that we have in our tradition. That's what scholars suggest. And if you look at the words, they're very powerful. And as we get to the Song of the Sea, we'll do this, and we'll know to rise as we're transported back there along with our ancestors for this well-known crossing.
Yeah.
You want to, you able to point? You're going to have to.
I know, I want to do it.
Okay, good.
Maybe. Baruch hu et Adonai hamborah.
Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
Sorry.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe nitei et yadecha al hayam v'yashuvu hamayim al Mitzrayim al richbo v'al parashav vayet Moshe et yado al hayam vayashov hayam lifnot boker le'etano u'mitzrayim nasim likrato vayinaer Adonai et Mitzrayim b'toch hayam vayashuvu hamayim vayichasu et harechev et haparashim lechoche el paro habaim acharehem bayam lo nish arbahem ad echad uvenei Yisrael halchu bayabasha betoch hayam vehamayim lahem choma miminam umismolam vayoshav Adonai bayomahu et Yisrael miad Mitzrayim vayar Yisrael et Mitzrayim meit al savat hayam vayar Yisrael et hayat hagdola Asher asa Adonai b'Mitzrayim, vayir'u ha'am et Adonai. Vayaminu b'Adonai u'Moshe avdo. We rise. Az yashir Moshe u'bnei Yisrael et hashira hazot l'Adonai vayamru le'mor. Ashiru l'Adonai ki ga'ogaha sus v'rachmo rama vayam ozi v'zimrat yaha vayehi l'Yeshua. Ze Eli v'yanvehu Elohei aviv aroma menhu. Adonai ish milchama Adonai shemo. Markevot paro v'hechalo yara vayam. Umivchar shalishav tuvu v'yam suf. Tehomot yechas yumu yardu bimsalot kamo aven. Yemincha Adonai nedari b'koach. Yemincha Adonai tiratz oyev. Uvrov goncha taharos kamecha tishalach aronecha yochlei mokakash. Uvruach apecha ne'ermu mayim nitzvu kemoned nozlim. Kafu tehomot v'lev yam. Amar oyev erdof asig achalek shalal. Timla emo nafshi arik charpi tori shemo yadi. Nashafta v'ruchacha kisamo yam. Talelu ka'oferet b'mayim adirim. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. No ratihilot osefele. Natita yemincha tibla emo aret. Nachita v'chastecha amzuga alta, nechalta ve'ozcha el nave kodshecha, shamu amim yir gazun, chihil edom ele, chihil achaz yoshvei palashet, az nivhalu alufei edom ele moab, Yochazemo Ra'ad Nahamogu Ko Yoshvei Chanaan Tipol Alehem Ematai Vafachad Bigdol Zeroacha Yidmu Ka'aven Ahad Yavor Amcha Adonai Ad Yavor Amzukanita Tivi emo v'tita emo v'har nachalatcha machon l'shivtecha ha'alata Adonai mihikdash Adonai konenu yadecha Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed Ki vasus paro v'richbo ufarasha vayam shevadonai alehem et mei hayam uvnei Yisrael achlu v'yabasha b'toch hayam vatikach Miriam haniviyah achot Aharon et atov b'yadam v'tetzena chol hanashim achareha v'tupim uv'micholot v'ta'an lahem Miriam shir l'Adonai ki ga'oga zus v'rachma rama vayam Vayasa Moshe et Yisrael miyam su vayetzu el midbar shur vayelchu shloshet yamim bamidbar v'lo matzu mayim vayavo'u maharata v'lo yachlu lishtot mayim mimara kimarim hem al ken karashim hamaram vayilanu ha'am al Moshe lemor manishte vayitzak el Adonai V'yorehu Adonai eitz vayashlech el hamayim vayimteku hamayim sham lo chok umishpat v'sham nisahu vayomer im shamoa tishma lakol Adonai Elohecha v'hayashar be'einav ta'aseh v'ha'azadta l'mitzvotav v'shamarta kol chukav kol ha'mechala asher samti b'mitzrayim lo asihim alecha ki ani Adonai ro'echa. May be seated.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. I was wondering what fell. All right, we're going to take our other Torah and put it on the shulchan. We rise for Hatsey Kaddish, signaling the completion of our formal study of our parashah. We'll have an Haftarah in just a moment.
There we go. I would be proud.
Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rava.
Amen.
Yamani rachidutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei chonu yomechon v'chayei lechol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'bizman karim yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam le'omaya yitbarach yishtabach yitbar v'cherman yinaseh yitadar yitalev yitalal shmei dekudesha leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yomam imeru.
Yamdu amagli alaha golel sefer rishon.
V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael b'yad Adonai b'yad Moshe.
Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Mora shakilat Yaakov. I know where it is, somewhere in here. Just had it the other day. I think it goes over a little bit. Yep, here it is. Let's move it a little bit. This is the heaviest Torah in the world.
Ya'amod Yaakov Meyer ben Shmuel HaKohen v'Tzipora Maftir.
Baruch et Adonai Hambarak. Baruch Adonai Barak Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'karbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Special maftirs on 932 verse 19. 932 verse 19. Amen. V'yikravtem. Can you hold that for now, please? Thank you. V'yikravtem ishe olam l'Adonai parim v'nevakar shnayim v'yayil echad v'shiv'a kvasim v'nehei shana t'mimim hiyu lachem u'min chatam soleh b'lulav hashemen shlosha esronim lapar u'shnei esronim la'ayil tasu Isaron ta'aseh la'keves ha'echad l'shivat ha'kvasim Uzir chatat echad l'chaper alechem milvad olah ha'boker asher le'olah ha'tamid ta'asu et eleh ha'eleh ta'asu la'yom shiva ha'yamim lechem ishereach nichoach l'Adonai al olah ta'tamid yaseh v'nizko Uvayom hashvi mikra kodesh yeh lachem kol melechet avodah lo tasu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temed b'chayei olam nata b'tochinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amdu amagbi avahagolel sefer sheni.
Rise for the lifting and tying of the second Sefer Torah.
Heavy on the right. That's good.
Bezot HaTorah asher Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael api Adonai v'yad Moshe. Torah, Tziva Lanel Moshe. Torah, Tziva Lanel Moshe. Torah, Tziva Lanel Moshe. Torah, Tziva Lanel Moshe. I'm going to give it to you. 13:10 in a second. Oh, I'll come. 13:10. I won't tell anybody else. That is a very, very, very heavy Torah. And Cameron makes it look like it's like lifting nothing. It's pretty impressive. It is a very heavy Torah. You are welcome to be seated. The Haftarah for this seventh day of Passover is taken from the well-known words of the prophet Isaiah. And as we conclude our celebration of freedom, we hear Isaiah's words remind us not only of our exodus from Egypt, but of our continued hope for the future, for the arrival of the Messianic era when it should be. So if you should be, unless I'm getting the wrong page, or am I giving you the wrong Haftarah? Let's make sure.
13:11.
13:10, 13:11. 13:10 I have, I think there's a commentary, so if you want to read a little bit about it, you can. And again, this is from, no, it should be 13:10. It should be from Samuel, my apologies. This is the Haftarah from Shmuel, and here is where the Haftarah presents David's great hymn of victory. Tomorrow we're going to look at Isaiah. I picked the wrong page when I pulled them out of my notes. Tomorrow we'll look at Isaiah, but today we're looking at Samuel, and this is the parallel, if you will, to the Song of the Sea. You'll see it's poetry. It's just a poem. And in fact, if you look, I'm looking as your, you want to hold it up? It's kind of cool. The tikkun, a tikkun, actually does it just like it is in the Torah scroll would be for the Song of Sea. It lists it as, you can see it's poetry just by how it's printed on the page. So this is a poem that is a victory poem, if you will, sung to God by David after he was saved from the hands of his enemies and actually from the hands of Saul as well. If you want to know about that story, tune in next Shabbat, a week from now, where Asher's bar mitzvah, because we're going to be studying how David escaped Saul's wrath before David became king. Here, this is after that, and David is thankful. And you'll see again, there's very strong language, and that's the parallel to the strong language, to the poetry and the strong imagery that we find in the Song of the Sea. So, page 1311.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'miyim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo v'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek. V'daber David l'Adonai et divrei hashira hazot b'yom hitzil Adonai oto mikaf kol oivav u'mikaf Shaul v'yomar Adonai sali tzudati falti li Elohei tzuri echesebo magini bekeren yishi misgabi umnusi mishi mechamas teshieni mechula lekra Adonai umeoiva ivashea ki apafuni mishperei mavet Nachalevi le'al yiva'atuni Chevle she'ol sabuni Kidmuni mokshe mavet Batzar li ekra Adonai El Elohai ekra Vayishma mechecha lo kolihi V'shavati ve'oznav Vayitga'ash vatirash ha'aretz Mosdot Hashamayim Yirgasu Vayikasu Ki Charalo Allah Hashem Le'apo Ve'esh Mipiv Tochel Gechalim Be'aru Mimenu Vayet Shamayim Vayirad Va'arafel Tachad Raglav Vayirkav Al Keru Yaya'o V'yira'e Al Kanvei Ruach Vayasher koshech sevivotav sukot hashvat mayim avei shechakim minoga negdo ba'aru kachalei eish yarei min shamayim Adonai ve'el yom yiteim kolo vayishlach chitzim vaypitzim barak vayachom hira'u afi keyam Yigalu Mosadot Tevel Begavrat Adonai Minishmat Ruach Apo Yishlach Mimarom Yikacheni Yamsheni Mimaim Rabihim Yatzileni Meoevi Az Misnai Ki Yamsu Mimeni Yekadmuni bayom ahadi edi Vayehi Adonai Mishandli Vayotse ulamercha oti Echatzeni ki chafetz bihi Yigmaleni Adonai kitzid kati Kevor yadai yashiv li Ki shamarti darchei Adonai Velo rashati melohai Ki chol mishpatav lenegdi Vechukotav lo asur mimena Vayetamim lo Vaestamra me'avoni Vayashev Adonai Li ketzid kati Kivori leneged einav, im chaser titchasad, im gibor tamim titamam, im navar titavar, ve'im ikesh titapah, ve'etahamani toshia, ve'einecha al ramim tashbihil, ki atah neri Adonai, v'Adonai yagia choshki. Ki vecha arutz gedud, Belohai adaleg shur, ha'el tamim darko, imrat Adonai tzerufa, magein hu lecho hachosim bo, ki mi el mi balade Adonai, umi tzur mi balade Eloheinu, ha'el ma'uzi chayo, Vayater tamim darkihi, mishaveh raglai kayalot, ve'al bamotav yamideni, melamed yadai la milchama, nichat kishet nechusha, zerota, vatiten li mageni shecha, va'anotecha tarbeni, tarchi tzadi takteni, ve'lo madu karsulai, Erdefa oivai va'ashmideim, velo ashuvad kalotam, v'achalei v'em chatzei velo yekumun, v'yipalu tachat raglai, v'tazreni chayol milchama, takriya kamai takteni, ve'oivai tahatali oref, nisanai ve'amit, Ve'atzmi tehem, Yishu ve'en Mahoshia, El Adonai ve'lo anaham, ve'esh chakem ka'afar aretz, kitit chutzo tadikem erkaehem, vat palteni merive amihi, tishmereni lerohosh goyim, am lo yadati yavduni, B'nei nechar yidkach hashilu li, lishma elzin yishamanu li, B'nei nechar yibolu, v'yakiru mimis garotaham, Chayronai ubaruch suri, v'yarum Elohei sur yishi, Ha'el, Anote nekamot lihi, umarid amim takteni, umotzi'i me'oivai, umikamai, terah memeni, me'ish chamasim tatzileni, akein, odecha Adonai bagoyim, oshimcha azamer, migdol Yeshua mahako, v'yoseh chesed limshicho, leDavid Uzaro, leDavid Uzaro, ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, tzor kol haolamim, tzadik bechol hadorot, Hayal ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, hamdaber kaim, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek, ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'ne'emanim devarecha, v'davar echad midvarecha, achor lo yashu rekam, ki al melech ne'eman, v'rachaman atah, baruch atah Adonai, Hayal ha'ne'eman, b'chol devarav, Rachem al Tzion ki beit chayinu veladu vat nefesh toshia imhira v'yameinu baruch atah Adonai mesameach Tzion bevaneha samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu be'eliyahu hanavi avdecha u'malchut be'David meshichecha b'imhira yavo v'yagel libeinu al kiso lo yesh zar v'lo yinchalu od acherim et kevodo ki v'shem kodshecha nishbat lo shelo yibenero le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David, Al Torah, v'Avodah, v'Al Nevi'im, v'Al Yom Hag Hamatzot Hazeh, Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, l'sason ol simcha, lechavod ol tziparet, Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anagnu Modim Lach Varchim Otach Yiparashivcha Bepiko Chai Tami Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh Yisrael V'Hazamanim.
Amen. Yeshkoach. Don't close it. You're going to go right to 339. Yeshkoach. We stay in our festival pages, and if you'll turn forward past Yizkor tomorrow, we will recite Yizkor tomorrow as a part of our 8th day observance. But we turn forward to 339. There you will find Ashrei as we go into the concluding part of the Torah service. Yeshkoach for a beautiful, not easy, those words are not easy. Poetry never is, but it's a beautiful poem in essence. So, page 339.
Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yihalalucha Selah
Ashreham shekachalo, Ashreham she'Adonai Eloham.
Teila LeDavid Aramimcha Elohai HaMelech Vavarcha Shimcha Le'olam Va'ed
V'chol yamar v'chekav yalala shimcha le'olam va'ed.
Gadol Adonai Umhulal Me'od V'lidol Ato Ein Cheker
Or the door yishabach ma'asecha u'gvarotecha yagidu.
Hadar Kevododecha V'divrei Nifliotecha Asicha
Ezuznotecha yomeru u'gdolatecha asaprena.
Zecher Avtecha Yabiu V'tzid Kadcha Yeranenu
Anim b'racham Adonai erech apay mugdal chased.
Tover Elai Lakov Rachamav Kol Ma'asav
Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha v'chasidecha yivarchucha.
Kevod Malchutcha Yomeru Ugvaratecha Yedaberu
V'odir lifnei adam gurotav u'kvod hadar malchutav.
Malchutcha Malchutcha Olamim Umemshaltecha B'chol Dor V'Dor
So me'ech Adonai l'chol noflim v'zokef l'chol hakfufim.
Einei Chol Elecha Yesaberu V'yata Noten Lachem Et Ochlam Beito
Oteach et yadecha u'maspil l'chol chai ratzon.
Tzadik Adonai B'chol Doracha V'chasi B'chol Ma'asav
Arov Adonai l'chol kor ahav l'chol asher yikru'u v'emet.
Betzon Yirei Avyaseh V'yet Shavatam Yishma V'yoshiem
Shomer Adonai et kol ahavav v'et kol harshayim yashmihi.
Tehilat Adonai Yidaber Pi V'varek Kol Basar Shem Kodsho Le'olam Va'ed
V'anachnu nevarech Yam
Mi'ata v'yad olam.
Hallelujah. We rise for Seder Hachnasat Torah as we return the Torah scroll to the Aron HaKodesh, Torah scrolls, I should say, as we open up the Ark.
Yeah, hallelujah, et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado, odo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keherem leyamo, teila lecho chasidam, livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. LeDavid mismor, L'Adonai haaretz umloa, Tevel v'yoshvei ki yu'al yamida v'yanecha rod yechonecha, mi yale v'har Adonai u'mi yakum kimkom kodsho, neki chapayim var levam. Asher lo nasav la shavda shivelo nishba lemirma yisav racham yeit Adonai utzedakam Elohei Yisho zedor dorsha nebakshei panecha Yaakov su she'arim rashechem neinasu pitei olam Yavo melech hakavod, mize melech hakavod, Adonai uziz v'gibor, Adonai gibor milchama, seu she'arim rashechem, useu pitei olam, Yavo melech hakavod, mihu ze melech hakavod, Adonai Tzevaot, Hu Melech HaKavod Selah, Hu Melech HaKavod Selah, Hu Melech HaKavod Selah, Hu Melech HaKavod Selah.
I'll go over that one with you next time. You just have to break the verses up, right?
Yep.
You got the tune, you just gotta-
Eitz Chaim Hi Lamazikim Ba V'tomcheha Meushar Deracheha Darecheinu V'chol netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha Benashuva Kadesh Kadesh Yameinu Kadesh Yameinu
As we run our Kiddush's close, we remain standing for a brief Musaf service, which you'll find beginning on page 342, as we do our Musaf Amidah, and Jeff will continue.
Yes. Like you got chords.
Torah on the farthest left. Is the one that is. 342.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba.
Amen.
V'almad v'rak yirtei v'yamlik malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon u'chayedecho beit Yisrael. Bagala u'vizman kariv. Ve'imeru amen. Yishmei rabba mevorach. Le'olam ulal meyomaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitoma v'yinaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'olma be'imeru amen.
We begin the Amidah together, 343.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah El Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot, Mevi Goel Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Foked Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ufoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Meitim Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mahorid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Meitim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Nofalim Verafei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim emunato lishenei afar micha mocha bagevurot umido melach melech memid umechaye umatzbiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lecha chayot metim Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hametim. Na'aritzecha v'na'agdishecha kesod siach sarfei kodesh המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרז אל זה ויאמר. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך על הארץ כבודו. כבודו מעלה, מעלה עולם, יהי מקום כבודו. כבודו מעלה, מעלה עולם, יהי מקום כבודו. כבודו מעלה, משרתיו שואלים, שואלים זה לזה, יהי מקום כבודו. משרתיו שואלים, שואלים זה לזה, יהי מקום כבודו. לעומתם ברוך יאמרו. ברוך כבוד אדוני מהמקומו, מהמקומו הוא ייפן ברחמים, יחונם המייחדים שמו, המייחדים שמו. ערב ובוקר בכל יום תמיד, פעמיים, פעמיים, יחווה שמה אומרים, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav Shehenin, Lehene Kolchai, Liot Lachem Lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adir Adirenu Adonai Adonenu, Adir Shimcha B'chol Haaretz, V'hayad Adonai Lamelech Al Kol Haaretz, Bayom Hahu Yi Adonai Echad, U'Shemo Echad, U'Divrei Kodeshecha Katuv Le'mor, Loch Adonai Le'olam, Elochai Tzion L'dor V'dor, Hallelujah. L'dor v'dor nagigo lecha, netzach netzachim kedushatecha nagdish, v'shivcha Eloheinu mipinu le'memus le'olam v'ed, Yamel gadol v'kadosh ata, Baruch ata Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh.
just keep it. You don't need like 400 pages. What do you need? You need 5 pages just to finish it off instead of 5 pages. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just. We continue with Kaddish Shalem back on page 203. 203.
Yit Kedavi Kedashe Me Rabba. Me Alma Dirakir Tevi Amlik Malkute Bechai Chon Yamakon of Kaida Kol Beit Yisrael Bagalavis Man Karim Veyimeru. Amen. Yehesh Me Rabba Mevorach. Ve'olam Elam Me Almaya Yitvarach. Yiparak, Ishtabak, Viparvito, Avita Sevita, Darvita Levita Los Made Kudusha, Rikul Ela, Mikobrachata Veshirata, Tishbekata Venachamata, Tamira Miama Veyimeru. Amen. Tika Beltalota, Onavuta Honda, Koyisrael Kadama Vukondi Vishmai Veyimeru. Amen. Yehesh Lamarava Min Shemaya, Echaim Alena Veako Yisrael Veyimeru. Amen. Ohose Shalom Bimramav. Uyase Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimeru. Amen. May be seated, page 204. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shiktiru Avahotenu, Lefanecha Ketoret Hasamim.
We rise for Aleinu, page 205.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latek gedula leyotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kagayeh haratzon, velo samanu kemishpechot hadama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, manachnu korim, Umistachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu shehu noteh shamayim veyosed haaretz umoshav yekaro b'shamayim mimal u'shchinatu zo b'govei meromim hu Eloheinu einod Emin Malkeinu Evezulato Kakatu B'Torato V'yadata Hayom V'hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim B'shamayim mimal Ve'al haaretz mitachat Ein od Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch leolam vahed v'nehemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz Mayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad Ushemo echad Ushemo echad.
You may be seated. I like that. As we prepare to recite Mourner's Kaddish, as we have been doing, we continue to keep in our thoughts and remember and give Havzek support to the families of Rabbi Arnold Feldman, brother of Rivka Schechter and uncle of Josh Schechter, Babs Schnitzer, mother of David Schnitzer, and sister-in-law of Phyllis Cole, certainly to Sylvia, for remembering Sylvia Cohen, mother of Jeff Cohen and Adam, and the extended Cohen family, Eddie Halfant and the extended Halfant family. We keep him in our thoughts today, and we remember Joel Horlin and his extended family as you all move through the Shloshim period. Phil saved the day because we had already changed over our lists for tonight and through the next week for yard sites, but there are a few for today. Itzhak Greenspan and Israel Horowitz. Itzhak Greenspan is father of Clementi Greenspan, Israel Horowitz, father of Flora Garb, and Barbara I. Mazer, who is sister-in-law of Bernice Mazer, and Sylvia Moss, mother of Mickey Gross. So we keep all of them in our thoughts. As we turn to 207, there you'll find Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish. Anyone reciting is welcome to rise and join with us.
Yit Kadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma Dibarak Hirute, V'yamlich Malchute, V'chayechon, U'yomechon, U'chayeh Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, U'izman Karib, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam, Olamei Almaya, Yit Barach, V'yishtabach, V'yit Pa'ar, V'yit Romam, V'yit Naseh, V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleh, V'yit Halal, Shmei Dekudasha, B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechamata, Da'amiran B'yalma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Mim Shemaya, Echayim Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'yal Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen.
Amen. We want to thank everybody for helping out today. Bernard, as always, Phil, as always, Cameron. You actually got to sit this time. I didn't see you standing in the back the whole time. Everybody here, everyone had a part in helping to make the minyan and helping to celebrate our seventh day of Passover together. Jeff, thanks for Torah reading, Haftarah, davening, all that you do always. And the only really announcements we need to make to remind you that we are here tonight at 6 o'clock for our Shabbat and going into our 8th day of Passover. It is a shortened, we don't do all of Kabbalat Shabbat, but we are going to do a little bit of Shir HaShirim tonight as a part of that. So 6 o'clock this evening, should be done by not before 7. We'll be a little bit done earlier, hopefully, than we normally are because of the shortened bit of service since we're going from Chag right into Shabbat. That's the tradition, is we don't do the full Kabbalat Shabbat. And then we'll be here back tomorrow morning, normal time, 9:15. And we will have Yizkor towards the end of the Torah service tomorrow. We also have a baby naming, and we do have Kiddush lunch tomorrow also, I think, so unless something changed I don't know about. So there'll be a Pesach Kiddush lunch as well, and at least at this point, the plan is to do a little Torah talk. We'll probably be studying Shir HaShirim just a little bit. We'll take a few minutes to do that. So keep all of that in mind as Jeff leads us in, is it going to be the Dayenu one again?
Nope.
Oh, a different
No, we're going
one.
to the 70s.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
We do have something outside.
Yes, we do. Yes, I was going to say at the end, we're going to do Kiddush. Instead of doing Kiddush here on the Bima, we've been doing the last few times. There's in the rotunda grape juice and matzah. If you haven't had your fill yet, you can get some more. We'll go out, all of us can come out, and we'll just do Kiddush together. So just go out, grab a cup, and before you drink it, we'll do Kiddush together, very short for the Chag. So thank you, Bill. All right, with that, 211, I have no clue what he's going to surprise us with, but it sounds like an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, so this was the Adon Olam of my young youth.
Oh, cool.
So it goes quickly. Adon Olam, Asher Ma'ala, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chev Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Le'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimlok Nohora, Behu Haya, Behu Hove, Behu Yiyeh B'tifara, Adon Olam, Asher Ma'alach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nihra, Li'ed Nasa, B'chev Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, והוא אחד ויהי שני, והמשלו להך בהירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ליד נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, בצור חבלי בעץ הרע, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום נקרא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ליד נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, בידו אף כי רוחי, והייתי שם ביעירה, ואם רוחי גבייתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. אדון עולם אשר מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ליד נעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא.
We say a Chag Sameach, good Yantif, and a Moadim L'Simcha, Chagim Uzmanim L'Sason. V'samachta v'chagecha.
Yes.
V'hayita ach sameach. Yesh koach.
And thank you all for being here, for helping to make a minyan, and for celebrating.
All right, we'll be out in a rotunda in just a second. Hey Jeff, tomorrow, you good with this?
Sure.
I have a baby name, so I think I'll try to stick it in here somewhere, and then we'll do the Mishnah Berach later on.
Yeah, I'll read.
Is that good?
It's fine.
I know, I mean, you can do this one if you want. I kind of know it a little bit, but I think I learned it last year, but if you want to do it, you
If
can
you
do
have
it.
your pages.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the pages.
Yeah.
So either way, we can play with it, I don't care, but I just went ahead and put you in. And then, I figured this is long, I mean, it's long, so I figured I would spell you a little bit at the end, but if you wanna keep reading, I don't really care. Doesn't matter to me. Yeah, it's 1 through 18, they're long readings, I have them in the. It's Aser Ta'aser is the, it's Re'eh. Re'eh, yeah, Re'eh. So it's Ta'aser, Aser Ta'aser. I think I learned it last year when Ben and I were like paralleling, so I think I kind of know it a little bit, but I'm happy for you to do it. Or pick up either this one even because I'll, the baby naming, I'm trying to make it a, yeah. Elise Danielle's daughter, she's Loretta, she's, and William, they're both preschool kids and they're members, and she never, because of COVID, never had a baby name. Yes, I do, you do know, I know, well, I don't know if we're gonna stick one in, I know. Yeah, because we're not partying, we do it as an aliyah, just like, you'll see, I'll tell you what you see tomorrow, and if you think you're comfortable with what we do, then no, I mean, you'll see how we do it. No, but I mean, we'll see how we do it, how I do it. It's just a sort, and if you like it, then we can do it for you. And if you're like, nah, I think I want to wait, Rabbi Bear will make it happen for you too. Nope. Uh-oh. Oh no, you'll have to deliver it to me. No, just put it here. I'm gonna put that in my thing in a second. All right, we're gonna go do a little Kiddush and a little motzi over more matzah. Thank you.